Have you ever wondered why some people seem to rise above every challenge, while others remain trapped in the same circumstances year after year? Most people believe that changing their life starts with changing their situation. They think they need more money, better opportunities, or perfect conditions before they can become successful. But what if that's not where transformation begins? What if the real change starts much deeper than that? The truth is, every action you take, every decision you make, and every result you achieve begins with one thing: the way you think. Positive thinking is not about ignoring problems or pretending life is perfect. It's about choosing a mindset that allows you to see possibilities where others see obstacles. It's about training your mind to focus on growth instead of limitations, solutions instead of excuses, and opportunities instead of fear. Today, we're going to explore how positive thinking can completely transform your life, unlock your potential, and help you become the person you're truly capable of becoming. Because when you change the way you think, you change the way you live. And when you change the way you live, you can change your entire future. Have you ever noticed how two people can face the exact same situation and experience it in completely different ways? One person sees a setback and immediately believes everything is falling apart. Another person faces the same setback and sees it as a challenge, an opportunity to learn, or a temporary obstacle on the path to something greater. The difference is not the situation itself. The difference is the way they think about it. The thoughts you repeat every day become the lens through which you view the world. They influence your emotions, your decision, your habits, and ultimately the results you create in your life. Long before success or failure appears on the outside, it begins on the inside. It starts with a thought. Many people underestimate the power of their own minds. They believe their circumstances control their thinking, when in reality, their thinking often controls how they respond to their circumstances. If you constantly tell yourself that life is unfair, that opportunities are limited, or that success belongs to other people, your actions will naturally reflect those beliefs. You will hesitate when opportunities appear. You will avoid taking risks. You will expect disappointment before you've even given yourself a chance to succeed. Your brain is constantly listening to the story you tell yourself. Every day, whether you realize it or not, you are creating a narrative about who you are, what you deserve, and what is possible for your future. If that story is filled with doubt, fear, and limitation, it becomes difficult to create a life filled with confidence, growth, and achievement. Think about someone who believes they are capable of learning new skills. When they face a challenge, they may struggle, make mistakes, and experience frustration, but they continue moving forward because they believe improvement is possible. Now think about someone who believes they are not smart enough, talented enough, or capable enough. Faced with the same challenge, they often quit early because their thoughts have already convinced them that failure is inevitable. The reality around us is often influenced by the expectations we carry within us. When you expect growth, you look for ways to improve. When you expect opportunities, you become more aware of them. When you expect positive outcomes, you approach situations with greater confidence and energy. This doesn't mean life suddenly becomes easy. It means you begin responding to life in a way that creates better possibilities. Positive thinking is not about pretending problems don't exist. It is not about ignoring difficulties or convincing yourself that everything is perfect when it clearly isn't. Positive thinking is about choosing a perspective that empowers action rather than paralysis. It is the ability to recognize challenges while still believing in your ability to overcome them. Every great achievement in human history began as a thought. Every invention, every business, every movement, and every breakthrough started in someone's mind before it became reality. Before anything can exist in the physical world, it must first exist as an idea. The same principle applies to your personal life. The future you want to create begins with the thoughts you choose to nurture today. If you constantly focus on what is missing, you will always feel deprived. If you constantly focus on what is possible, you will begin to see paths that were previously invisible. Your attention acts like a spotlight. Whatever you focus on becomes larger in your awareness. If your attention is consumed by fear, fear grows. If your attention is directed toward opportunity, opportunity becomes easier to recognize. Many people spend years waiting for external circumstances to change before they allow themselves to think differently. They say, "I'll be positive when I become successful." But the truth is often the opposite. Success frequently follows a positive mindset. The way you think influences the actions you take, and your actions influence the results you achieve. Consider how powerful a single thought can be. One thought can inspire courage. One thought can motivate action. One thought can change a decision that alters the direction of an entire life. At the same time, one negative thought, repeated often enough, can become a belief that limits your potential for years. The quality of your life is closely connected to the quality of your thoughts. If your mind is filled with possibility, resilience, gratitude, and purpose, those qualities begin to shape your daily experiences. You approach relationships differently. You handle setbacks differently. You make decisions differently. The external changes often begin with an internal shift that nobody else can see. Your thoughts influence your energy. They affect how you carry yourself, how you communicate, and how you interact with others. People who believe in their ability to grow often project confidence and determination. People who constantly doubt themselves frequently hold back from opportunities that could transform their lives. Every day presents a choice. You can allow negative thoughts to dominate your perspective, or you can intentionally cultivate thoughts that support your goals, your growth, and your future. The thoughts you feed become stronger. The beliefs you repeat become more convincing. The mindset you practice becomes the reality you experience. What you repeatedly think about eventually influences what you repeatedly do. What you repeatedly do becomes your habits. Your habits shape your character, and your character shapes your destiny. Everything begins with the thoughts you choose to entertain and the beliefs you choose to accept as true. Every person has a voice inside their head. It speaks throughout the day, commenting on situations, interpreting experiences, and shaping how they see themselves. Most people are so accustomed to this internal dialogue that they rarely question it. They simply accept it as truth. But the words you say to yourself matter more than you may realize, because your inner voice has the power to either build your confidence or slowly destroy it. Many people would never speak to a friend the way they speak to themselves. They make a mistake and immediately think, "I'm not good enough." They face a challenge and tell themselves, "I can't do this." They experience a setback and conclude, "I always fail." Over time, these thoughts become familiar, and familiarity often disguises itself as truth. Negative self-talk is one of the greatest obstacles to personal growth. It creates invisible limits that prevent people from reaching their full potential. It convinces capable individuals to doubt themselves before they even try. It turns temporary failures into permanent identities. Instead of seeing a mistake as something they did, they begin seeing it as who they are. The danger of negative self-talk is that it often sounds reasonable. It doesn't always arrive as a loud voice announcing defeat. Sometimes it appears as subtle doubts and quiet assumptions. It whispers that you're not ready, not qualified, not talented enough, or not deserving of success. These thoughts seem small at first, but when repeated day after day, they become beliefs. Beliefs influence behavior. If you believe you are incapable of success, you will act differently than someone who believes success is possible. You may avoid opportunities because you assume failure is waiting for you. You may hesitate to share your ideas because you expect rejection. You may stop pursuing your goals because you've already convinced yourself they are out of reach. What makes negative self-talk so powerful is repetition. The human mind learns through repetition. The more often you hear something, the more likely you are to accept it. This is true whether the message is positive or negative. If you repeatedly tell yourself that you're weak, eventually you'll begin acting as if it's true. If you repeatedly tell yourself that you're capable of growth, you'll begin approaching life with a different mindset. Many of the limitations people carry are not based on facts. They are based on stories they've told themselves for years. Perhaps someone failed once and decided they were incapable. Perhaps they were criticized by others and accepted those opinions as permanent truths. Perhaps they compared themselves to others and concluded they would never be enough. These stories become mental barriers that shape future decisions. The good news is that beliefs can change. Just as negative thoughts can become limiting beliefs, empowering thoughts can become empowering beliefs. The first step is becoming aware of the conversations taking place inside your mind. You cannot change a pattern you refuse to acknowledge. Pay attention to the way you speak to yourself when things go wrong. Notice the words you use when facing uncertainty or difficulty. When a negative thought appears, don't automatically accept it. Challenge it. Ask yourself whether it is truly accurate. Often, you'll discover that many negative thoughts are exaggerated, distorted, or completely false. A single mistake does not mean you're a failure. A difficult challenge does not mean you're incapable. A temporary setback does not mean your future is hopeless. Empowering beliefs are not about pretending you're perfect. They are about recognizing your potential for growth. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," you can say, "I can learn how to do this." Instead of saying, "I'm not good enough," you can say, "I am improving every day." Instead of focusing on limitations, you focus on possibilities. Language matters because words influence emotions. The way you describe your circumstances affects how you feel about them. If you constantly describe challenges as impossible, you create feelings of helplessness. If you describe them as opportunities to learn and grow, you create feelings of determination and resilience. Successful people are not necessarily those who never experience self-doubt. They are often people who have learned not to let self-doubt control their actions. They understand that thoughts are not always facts. They recognize that fear, insecurity, and uncertainty are normal parts of growth. Rather than allowing negative thoughts to stop them, they choose beliefs that support progress. Imagine the difference between waking up every morning believing that you're capable of creating a better future and waking up believing that nothing you do will make a difference. Those two mindsets lead to completely different behaviors. One creates energy, initiative, and persistence. The other creates hesitation, fear, and inaction. The words you repeat to yourself become the foundation of your self-image. If your inner dialogue constantly focuses on weaknesses, your confidence begins to shrink. If your inner dialogue acknowledges strengths, potential, and progress, your confidence begins to grow. Confidence is not built by waiting for success. It is built by developing beliefs that encourage action even before success arrives. Replacing negative self-talk with empowering beliefs is not something that happens overnight. The mind tends to return to familiar patterns, especially those practiced for years. That is why consistency is essential. Every time you replace a limiting thought with an empowering one, you strengthen a new mental pathway. Every time you choose encouragement over criticism, you reinforce a healthier perspective. Your mind is always listening to what you tell it. The messages you repeat become instructions that influence how you think, feel, and act. When those messages are filled with possibility, growth, and belief, they begin shaping a stronger version of yourself. When they are filled with doubt and limitation, they create barriers that exist nowhere except within your own thinking. The most important conversation you will ever have is the one you have with yourself, because it is the only conversation that continues every day of your life. The quality of that conversation influences your confidence, your decisions, your actions, and the direction of your future. Life is filled with obstacles. No matter who you are, where you come from, or what goals you pursue, challenges are inevitable. Every person encounters setbacks, disappointments, failures, and unexpected difficulties. The difference between those who continue moving forward and those who remain stuck is often not the obstacle itself, but where they choose to focus their attention. Many people spend so much time concentrating on obstacles that they become blind to opportunities. They focus on what might go wrong instead of what could go right. They see reasons to quit rather than reasons to continue. They allow fear, uncertainty, and doubt to dominate their thinking, and as a result, they miss possibilities that may be right in front of them. Imagine standing in front of a locked door. One person sees the door and immediately concludes that the journey is over. They focus entirely on the barrier. Another person notices the same door but begins looking for a key, another entrance, or a way around the problem. Both people face the same obstacle, yet their perspectives lead them in completely different directions. Opportunities rarely arrive in perfect conditions. They often appear disguised as challenges, difficulties, or moments of uncertainty. Many of the greatest achievements in life begin when people choose to see potential where others see problems. They understand that obstacles are often temporary, while opportunities can create lasting change. When people focus exclusively on obstacles, they tend to magnify them. Small challenges begin to appear overwhelming. Minor setbacks start to feel permanent. Their minds become occupied with reasons why something cannot be done rather than searching for ways it can be accomplished. This mindset creates frustration, discouragement, and inaction. The human mind naturally pays attention to threats and difficulties. This tendency helped our ancestors survive dangerous environments. However, in modern life, This same tendency can prevent growth when it causes people to focus excessively on problems. If you train your mind to notice only what is wrong, you will overlook many of the opportunities surrounding you. Think about how often people talk